Hello and good afternoon. Doing a loan appraisal for LOC Federal Credit Union. Jason Phillips from Auto Appraise. This is a 2013 Mercedes GLK 350. Just got done doing a physical inspection. This is a salvage title vehicle, so we're going through it fairly comprehensively to see how it's doing. 3.5 V6 produced just over 300 horsepower. 2013. Just did a check the dipstick. We're about 3/4 of a quart low on oil. The oil's fairly clean, but probably could stand a change. Up front, it's hard to see this, but it doesn't appear that there's any pockets or dips in the frame rails down there. It doesn't appear that there's any physical damage left over. Nothing looks contorted in an unusual way. Inner fenders look real nice. Hood seams look real nice. And no physical damage on the front plastic components except for a little chunk missing right here. Engine starts up and runs nice. All the components I've tested so far inside the vehicle work, including the air conditioning, heated seats, etc. And digital paint meter reads 4 to 5 on the panels all the way around. The only panel that doesn't read 4 to 5 is the back quarter on the other side, reads 7. I'll get there in a minute. We got a door ding, scratch, a little bit of tearing on the front bumper. Here's an exploded view that can be frozen on by the potential buyer and or the bank to kind of take a look at what I found. Little curb rash on that right front wheel. Half-inch door ding, 2-inch scratch, 1-inch scratch in the back. A few paint nicks on the front door on the other side. Big 16-inch long gouge there, and some hairline scratches on the hood. Generally speaking, a few little marks on the front bumper. Generally speaking, it's a good-looking vehicle considering it's a salvage title, with no obvious major physical damage to complain about. The interior smells good. I say that because the current driver owner reports that the car was salvaged due to flood. And so I pulled the rear compartment. I'll show you in a minute. Got a long scratch that goes from here all the way into the door. A little bit of a gouge, but it's not horrible. That's probably the worst spot on the car. A little bit of a door ding here and a few little scratches. But physically speaking, the unit is not in bad shape. You got to expect some wear and tear, of course. Little scuff on the front bumper here. I didn't put on the exploded view. Forgot to write that down, but I will. And a little bumper crack tear right there, and a little bit of a puncture right there. And that's about it for physical damage. The tires are pretty shot. We're down to the wear bars. 11, 12, 30 seconds. They're baloney skins, a little bit of dry cracking on the edges all around. So it's going to need tires. Wheels are in good shape, less a little bit of curb scuffing on this wheel here. Any other curb scuffing was minor compared to that. These are 19-inch wheels. These cars, you could have got an AMG package on them in 2013, and the telltale sign would have been 20-inch wheels instead of 19s. Would have had an aluminum roof rack and I think LED lights. Up underneath the car, didn't really see anything that scared me. The control arms and tie rod ends, ball joints, etc. all look to be OEM original. They're pretty worn. I don't see any creases, cuts, smashes, etc. You'll see a drive axle up there. That makes this a 4MATIC instead of just a rear-wheel drive. These in 2013, these came, I think they started building this in 2010, this body style, but they came 4MATIC with 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, or they came just rear-wheel drive, and this one's got the all-wheel drive. But underneath, you can see there's really no physical damage to the exhaust system, which looks OEM. Doesn't appear anything's pouring out of the vehicle as far as fluids go. Age appropriate. The client that hired us didn't opt for a hoisted inspection You can do that, but you can order more of a basic loan appraisal. It's whatever the bank really says they're happy with. Doing a quick reference measurement, I got about 4 fingers of space between the bottom of the ground effects and the tire, and I got that on the other side as well. So as far as the wheels being moved back in the hole, not an issue. On a frame machine it might look a little different, but back here in the back end I got 3 fingers, and again the same thing on the other side, little plus 3 fingers, cuts in the tire. Since the owner mentioned it was a previous flood vehicle, I got in and was looking for lines of water damage, smell, odors, anything suspicious, but really I didn't see anything alarming, and certainly don't smell anything unusual. So maybe it was low-lying damage, who knows? That's just reported information. At the end of the day, you never know. That's why I'm here checking it out. 800-301-3886 if you need service like this. Pretty satisfied with the way the vehicle looks and smells. Pretty satisfied that there's really no obvious damage to be seen without having a hoist or a set of tram gauges to do measurements on. So let's head down the road and we'll wrap this thing up. Take a peek inside before we take off, and the interior is remarkably clean. I tried the power seat switches, locks, power mirrors, etc. That stuff all appears to function as it should. And again, don't see any water lines or stains, and not that they wouldn't have been cleaned up several months and or a couple years later. But everything seems to smell good, and I'm not going to go through and test every single option. The owner who's coming to buy this vehicle, he can go through every single small option on the vehicle. I'll go through the majority of the important basic stuff and check that out. Alright, let's see what these 300 horsies are all about. 50, that odometer will pop back up. 91 degrees in Michigan today. Pretty nice day for May. Power mirror adjusts automatically on the other side. And we're in drive. Fan controls are working, the stereo head came on, navigation, etc. I didn't run through all the paces and cycles, but seems to be operating as it should. Speedo, gas gauge, tach, and digital effects all seem to be in order. Power windows, power locks, driver's power seat was tested. Seems to be in working order. So far so good, going down the road nice and quiet. Give us a pause here. That seems to be working. Air conditioning is blowing nice and cold. Compass is working. I think actually we'll make a turn here. Okay, 300 horsies. Let's see what we got. Seven-speed automatic is what they put in these. It shifts so smooth I can't really discern the difference between gears. We'll have to watch the tach. I gotta watch the road. Traffic's getting a little bit heavy. It's 4 p.m. Everybody's getting out of work. Jason Phillips from Auto Appraise, wrapping up the tail end of a test drive on a 2013 Mercedes loan appraisal, salvage title for LOC Federal Credit Union. They are willing to write loans on vehicles with salvage titles, provided they are inspected and they, they're not a box of rocks, if you know what I mean. This vehicle, I got my hands off the wheel right now. It feels nice. It goes down the road. I really don't have any complaints. We'll do a couple quick tight turning radiuses and see if we've got any unusual suspension noise. Gas station owner's probably not going to be wondering what I'm doing out here. Oh, nothing weird. No noises. Suspension sounds tight. Horn works. Turn signals operate. I tell you, it feels very nice. I like it. Alright, well, if the dollars make sense, this car will get a thumbs up from Auto Appraise. Current owner states she's put between 35 and 40,000 miles on it, so it's obviously been servicing her well for that period of time. Doesn't appear there's any check engine light codes flashing. Alright, one last look around. Engine sounds good. No smoke observed. Last minute check for some leaks. Hear a little bit of fan noise, but as far as risk goes, if I were a risk taker looking to buy a salvage title Mercedes, I don't think I'd be afraid of this one. I think I'd jump in it. I'm 90% confident. It appears to be a pretty good vehicle. It's going to need tires. Looks like it's got the original rotors on it. We didn't do a full jacked up inspection, as I mentioned earlier, but looks pretty good. All right, thanks a bunch. Have a nice day. Leave some feedback.